Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about reverse dieting, aka bulking. We're gonna talk about like why you bulk, the difference between bulking and cutting, and then also like the calorie requirements, just basically how to do it and how to do it properly with minimizing fat. But with that being said, let's get into it. As many of you guys know, with my journey, I didn't start out like overweight. This isn't a weight loss transformation. This is a weight gain transformation. I'm currently like 160 pounds. I used to be 120 pounds soaking wet. I've had 2 kids. I was super small. At the time, I was working full-time as a paramedic firefighter, and I was just super weak compared to the guys, couldn't really do my job. So I decided like, hey, I'm gonna get into weightlifting and I wanna start growing. So I didn't start my fitness journey until after my second daughter was born. That's when I first ever started weightlifting. But just a little background on myself so you can kind of understand like where I came from and why I chose to bulk. Okay, so first, what is the purpose of bulking? So the purpose of doing a bulk or a reverse diet is to put on muscle mass and weight throughout a period of time. A lot of people come to me and they say, Presley, should I bulk or should I cut first? My answer is always like, where are you comfortable and how much body fat does that person have? If you still want to lose body fat, I would suggest personally doing that first, because with bulking, you're gonna put on more fat, and 1, it's very discouraging. 2, it's actually harder for your body to put on muscle mass once you're at a certain level of body fat. There's reasons for that, which I'll get into, but I always say lose the fat first, and that way start like from a good foundation. The first step in how to reverse diet is to determine your maintenance calories. So you've already decided, like, I'm at a good point that I want to start a reverse diet, I want to pack on some size, I want to grow. I am actually going to calculate all the calories with you right here so you know exactly what you should be calculating. You know what your calories should be for your reverse diet, since that's what we're focusing on. It'll be easy. I will put up a little calculator like thing on the screen, the formula. You can follow along. I will also put it in the description box below. That way you can click on it for reference. I don't personally memorize this formula. I have no idea. I'm actually going to bodybuilding.com. Like I said, I'll link in the description, but follow along and let's find your bulking calories. The first step to find out your bulking calories is to figure out your maintenance calories. So your maintenance calories is basically like what you have to eat to maintain what you have right now. And in order to do that, the first step into finding those maintenance calories is figuring out your BMR. You've probably heard this before. BMR stands for basal metabolic rate. And basically that just means what you're burning to minimally stay alive right now. Like what I'm burning just sitting here. So the first step to finding your BMR, and I'm gonna put this up on the screen. For women, the formula is 10 times your weight in kilograms plus 6.25 times your height in centimeters minus 5 times your age in years minus 161 kcals per day. First, you want to find out your weight in kilograms and your height in centimeters if you don't already use that in your everyday life. Obviously, you have to put it into this equation. My weight in kilograms is 72 and my height in centimeters is 170. So I'm going to do that whole equation there. I'm going to do the 10 times 72, which is 720, plus, and I'm going to do the 6.25 times 170. So 170 times 6.25 is 1062.5. Add that to the 720 and you get 1782.5. And then we have to still subtract it by 5 times my age, which is 28. That's 140. So 1782.5 minus the 5 times my age in years, so minus 140. 1782.5 minus 140 is 1642.5, and then we still have to subtract that 161. So what I got was 1,481.5. That's pretty average. I'm 5'7" and I'm 160 pounds. Okay, now we have to factor in how active a person is, because if we just do our BMR, but we obviously all have different activity levels, it's not going to be very accurate. I don't really know how they came up with these numbers. I'll put it on the screen. I really have no idea, but you just pick one and you multiply your BMR by it. So that way I'm not getting the same result as someone who sits around and does absolutely nothing all day. So the choices are sedentary, lightly active, moderately active, very active, or extra active. I would say that I'm very active based on like my exercise, but I'm not like running around as a paramedic firefighter all day anymore. So I'm gonna take my 1,481.5 and I'm gonna multiply it by the very active score, which is 1.725. So 1481.5 times 1.725 is 2,555. Didn't think we would be doing math on YouTube together right now. I actually never thought that I would use any of these formulas. But I have my maintenance calories. My maintenance calories, personally for me, 2,555. Usually they say about 2,500 calories for each person is like a good maintenance as an estimate. So I find that that's accurate. If you're getting a weird score, not even close to somewhere like that, you probably just have to go back and do the math again. So for bulking, our goal is to just increase calories pretty slowly week by week. This helps to minimize fat gain. It also will help your hormones to just reset and get on a good level. And then it's also going to increase your metabolism. Most of my clients complain of this. They say, Presley, I am eating so much food. I literally don't feel like this is doing anything. I just feel like I'm eating too much. Like I can't physically eat that much. And I tell them, watch, I promise you a week or two from now, you're gonna be eating the same amount of calories, but you're gonna be hungrier. And that's because of that metabolism factor that I talked about with it speeding up and resetting. You're actually improving your metabolism over time. Obviously, men respond more quickly to bulking. That has to do with a lot of things, especially testosterone and male hormones. With females though, I usually recommend females adding 100 to 200 calories per week to their total intake. So if I were to start at that 255 maintenance calories for me, basically what I would suggest doing, take your maintenance calories, come up with a really good workout plan, which we'll talk about, come up with a really good workout plan, and then make sure that you're hitting your macros every single day. As far as macros go, I always recommend higher carbs on the days of what you want to build most. For women, it's usually like glutes and legs. So I'll eat anywhere around like 400 grams of carbs on a leg day. But I do love my carbs. I keep my fat to a minimum. That's just knowing myself and knowing that I don't respond very well to high fats. I do respond well to high carbs with strength and with seeing the progress in my body. As far as the particular macros go, do some research on it, play around. I always tell people to set your protein first. So your protein would be anywhere from 1 to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. They have actually found during bulking, you do not need as much protein as you do when you're cutting. So when you're bulking, you can actually do 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. To keep things simple, I just like to keep mine 1 gram per pound of body weight. If I'm 160 pounds, I'm eating 160 grams of protein, and that's totally fine. And then after your protein, you can set the amounts of fats you want. Typically for females, you want to make sure you're eating enough fat to balance out your hormones because you don't want to mess with those. For me, a fat day looks anywhere from 35 to 75 grams of fat. It just depends on the day. On rest days, I tend to eat a little bit more fat and a little less carbs. Carbs are not bad, you guys. Carbs equal glycogen, which equals energy. Your body uses carbs as glycogen to fuel your muscles. You'll actually notice you have a lot more increased strength and the increased muscle gains from adding carbs. So please don't be scared of carbs. If you're gonna bulk, you can't be scared of carbs. How do you know when to add calories? Knowing when to add calories, you would have to have a couple different tools. I use weight as one of them. Yes, weight is a tool. I only weigh myself once a week, usually on like Sunday mornings. As soon as I wake up, go to the bathroom, before I eat anything, weigh myself. If my weight has stayed the same for the entire week, I typically can add calories. So if your weight stays the same, your body's responding perfectly. For bulking, some people say they want you to gain anywhere between ½ pound a week up to 2 pounds a week at the most. Keep it within that realm. I find that that works really well for not putting on tons of body fat. So let's say that I weigh myself after a whole week and I'm feeling really good. I hit all my macros. I was doing everything correctly. I'm gonna add calories. I'm gonna add 100 to 200 calories a week. Start out with 100 if you're new to this. See what 100 calories does. So now instead of 2,555 calories, I'm gonna have 2,655 calories. And then I'll see how that goes for the week. Again, if my weight stays the same, I'll increase it again. However, if your weight increases by more than 2 pounds per week, you can either leave the calories where they're at, or you can just bring them down a little bit because maybe you're going a little too hard. My solution, I'll typically just add a little bit of cardio in. You can also create kind of a deficit with cardio. Moral of the story, when you're not gaining weight, eat more. If you're gaining strength but not weight and thus muscle, you're not eating enough. So you may be gaining strength, but you're not gaining weight. You have to add more calories. That's just how it goes. By increasing your body's calories weekly or bi-weekly like this, you're actually finding your body's sweet spot for muscle gain. A lot of people ask, like, how long should I bulk for? Bulking, I would say my longest bulk was 8 or 9 months. That's a pretty long bulk. Some people bulk for longer. A lot of people bulk for shorter. It's up to you. Basically, I will bulk until I feel like I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to feel shitty about myself. I don't want to feel uncomfortable. So I'll bulk until I feel like my body fat percentage is not where I want it to be. At that point, you can either do a full-on cut or you can just do a little bit of a mini cut and then keep bulking. The reason for this obviously is because after you're bulking for a while, it becomes harder for your body to put on muscle when you actually have too much fat percentage. It has to do with like insulin sensitivity and all those other underlying things. Okay, so we talked about calories. Now I kind of want to talk about workouts. With your calories, you know that you should be increasing calories weekly dependent on how you're looking, feeling, progress photos, measurements, and your body weight. For your workouts, you want to do compound workouts. Compound workouts are squats, deadlifts, bench press, different workouts that have tons of different joint movements and are working tons of muscle parts at the same time. For muscle to grow, your muscle has to be under pressure. You have to be giving that muscle adequate stimulation for it to grow. That will not happen with doing little accessory work exercises or high reps, lightweight all the time. You need to be lifting heavy. What's heavy for me might not be heavy for you and vice versa. So find your sweet spot. Typically for me, it's anywhere between 8 and 12 rep ranges. A good program for me and what I would recommend for women, I train my legs 3 times per week. I do find that is the sweet spot for me. For most women, it's 2 to 3 times per week. You are not going to grow your legs by only doing legs once a week. That's just how it is. If you want to grow something, you need to have frequency. With frequency, training more frequent, I would say that the load intensity is more important than frequency. If you're doing legs 3 times a week and you're not really going that hard, I would rather you go hard like 2 days a week and drop the 3rd day versus just giving partial effort on all 3 days, if that makes sense. If you guys are interested in a bulking plan, I do personalized coaching, so I would actually calculate your macros for you. I would give you a nutrition plan. I would give you food swap lists. You would check in with me weekly. If you're interested in coaching, you can go on my website and fill out my inquiry form. It is PresleyKPFit.com. There is a training inquiry form on there, and I will get back to you within 24 to 48 business hours. I will link that in the description box below for those of you who are interested on one-on-one coaching. Maybe this was just way too much info for you, very confusing for a beginner. Let me do it for you. Go ahead and fill out that coaching inquiry form. For those of you who are like, okay, I think I got this, like I'm comfortable with it, go ahead and get on a workout program. If you do not have one, I do have an app. It's only $1 for the first month, and then it's $14.99 for every month after. My app you can find at presleykpfit.app. And on my app, you will actually find a variety of programs based on your goals personally. I would love it if you guys shared your results with me, or if you liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. That's the only way I can really look at analytics and know what you guys like or want to see more of. So comment below if you guys want any more videos like this, if you want me to do a cutting one, maybe feedback. And yeah, I would really love that if you guys would follow me, subscribe, and like this video. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it wasn't too complicated, and I do hope it really helped you out with your bulking goals. So let's grow.